again, the manager was asked about, and quite a direct question, actually, from the media, about John Lundstram and about the majority of Rangers fans online, on socials, because that's really all we can go by, apart from our mates that we talk to and people that we see at games and stuff, right? But the majority of Rangers fans, David, that we know, don't want John Lundstram anywhere near that team. And the manager's answer to that, which, depending on how you're feeling about him, depending on how you're feeling about Rangers right now, you could probably take a few different ways. But he was correct in his first part of it, which is that when it comes to team selections, he shouldn't listen to fans. He absolutely shouldn't. If a manager's listening to supporters and that's what's guiding his team selection, then you've got the wrong manager at your football club. But he then followed it up with, the fans don't see the players in training, the fans don't know the players, the fans aren't around to be able to make those decisions. Which either tells me, Davey, that that's his way of saying, you know, he's getting nowhere near the team, don't worry about it. Or it's his way of saying, guys, you don't know the man, I know the man, and I trust him.
And I think that last sentence that you just said there, Martin, is what worries me most, that he trusts him. There is zero evidence there that he deserves to earn that trust. Now, I don't care how well you perform in training. The evidence is how you perform in the games, the big games that matter. And since the league was within our hands after we beat Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, John Lundstram's form fell off a cliff. Absolutely fell off a cliff. He always flatters to deceive. Now, I've brought this stat up numerous times in recent weeks, and I'm going to bring it up again. John Lundstram has started 14 Old Firm games. Rangers have won 2 of those, and 1 was after extra time. So John Lundstram is where the balance of power switched in this fixture, because Steven Gerrard's last Old Firm game, John Lundstram did not start. He came on and played the last 14 minutes as a sub when he replaced Stephen Davis when Helander scored. At that point, when Steven Gerrard had his last Old Firm game, Rangers had went 7 unbeaten in the fixture. Gerrard had mastered this, and then the role has just completely reversed since Lundstram became a mainstay in this team. Now, what he does in big games is he hides, he reverts to type, he comes deep, he looks to play that sweeper quarterback role where he comes and picks the ball up off the centre halves and plays 5 to 10 yard passes sideways. He has no real impact on the game. He doesn't press players, and you see when he tries to do it, you know, he gets it horribly wrong, as we saw at Parkhead in the last fixture. I just don't think he has the engine. I don't think he has the quality to be a Rangers player. I think he's done very well to earn a career and be here the 3 years he has and see out his contract. But I'm very worried that if Clement thinks that that's somebody that he can trust in the trenches, because he hasn't since Clement has been here in all the big games that matter. Against Benfica over the 2 legs, he was absolutely hopeless as well. And that is a concern. That's why I would bring Jack in, because although Ryan Jack has played little to no football, I disagree with Connor's point in the fact that he says he would maybe take the gamble if he was 80%. I'd take the gamble if he was 10, 15%, because
that was me that said that. I wish people would stop getting me and Connor mixed up.
Sorry, my apologies. The 10, 15%, because Ryan Jack won't go down waving the white flag. And for me, that is exactly what John Lundstram does time after time after time again in a Rangers jersey.
Can I just quickly come in on, just to slightly, because I agree with 90% of what you said there, but to slightly play devil's advocate, because I agree with you, I don't want him in a million, and you can't trust him after what he done, right? There's no getting away from that. He's, you know, we got back into that game and he threw it away, and he scored as a weird own goal, and then he gets himself sent off for a ridiculous tackle. However, yes, you know, the record in Rangers games for him has been poor, but that's not entirely his fault. And in that time, John Lundstram's not had the luxury of playing in those Old Firm games under Steven Gerrard. He's had to deal with playing under the incompetence of Michael Beale, and then Clement's tried to wrestle that back. Plus, for me, it's maybe the last 18 months, you could say, he hides in big games, because he didn't hide during the Europa League campaign. I mean, we weren't singing.
We have to move away from that, but when it comes to the league, Connor, we can't bring the Europa League into it.
I agree with that, but I'm making the point that you can't say that he hides his head away in every big game.
But Connor, see, just to contrast that though, he didn't play centre midfield in these games for the majority. He really played as a third choice centre back. Other than Dortmund away, he played centre mid that game. But see, every other game in that campaign, he played as a third centre back. And what I'm saying is, in the big games in the middle of the park, he's been the first choice over the last 18 months. And for me, I don't get how he deserves it. That's my contentious issue here. How is he the first choice central midfield pick under 3 different managers now? I don't understand it. I really don't, because he's no, for me, what you need as a Rangers player in there. And as I say, I don't mean to cut in on you there and cut you off, but
no,
that Europa League campaign, right? That we do, I do agree with Martin there. We need to part that, because I'm talking about the midfield battle is where we're losing all the big fixtures, and he's been the mainstay for the vast majority of that. And it doesn't matter who his partner's been, he's had several now. And for me, it's just not working, and I can't wait till he leaves.
And Connor, also just to add to that as well, it's not just the big games, but Ross County was a big game in terms of, we had to win it to go on and eventually then win the league, right? I get that, so it's a big game in that, but it's not a big team. It's not a difficult team that we're playing, and neither is Dundee. So even the small teams that we come up against, John Lundstram's failing. He's not the only one, right? He's absolutely not the only one. But that last Old Firm game there just absolutely compounded it for me with John Lundstram. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And Connor, I'll ask you before I bring up Jim Sloan's point. For me, there's always pressure on a Rangers manager, and I know how Davey feels, right? But there is 0.00000 chance that Phil Clement will not be our manager next season, right? He will absolutely get his opportunity. They will bring in the players that he wants, but a lot of the fans are quite disgruntled, right? If he picks John Lundstram on Saturday, if he picks him and we do not win that game, he's making a massive, massive rod for his own back going into next season. And look, even if, and I want to quantify it by, even if he doesn't pick John Lundstram, right, and we don't win the game, there's going to be loads of fans questioning his ability against Celtic, right? Whether that's fair or whether that's not fair, depending on the players that he's got, right? However, if he picks John Lundstram, he's making it 10 times worse for himself.
Oh, there's no getting away from it. Of course he is. And the reality is, Davey said it earlier, your bread and butter as a Rangers manager, if you want to stay around for any sustainable period of time, you have to get wins against Celtic. Now, not exclusively, because Gio did beat Celtic. He did get the cup semi-final in, and I think he was it a draw or something he got as well. So it doesn't always follow, but certainly that's your bread and butter. If we lose without playing John Lundstram, nobody's going to be happy with that at all, because we want to end the season in some sort of a high and salvage the only thing we can, which is a cup double, and use that as a springboard to try and launch into next season. And at least, and I hate saying it because it sounds a cliche thing to say, but lay down some kind of a marker to Celtic that you're not going to get this all your own way next season. Brendan Rodgers keeps babbling on about how he keeps hearing Rangers are coming and we've no came. Well, if we do go and win that cup at the weekend, that will be... No, but I literally just said that. What I'm saying is, if we do, though, go and win that cup at the weekend, that's a shot fired back at him. Yes, you've won the league. Well done. You've won it partly because you've had just enough to go over the line, mainly because we've been shocking and throwing it away, and particularly post-split. We can win a cup double and at least give ourselves some leg up next season. Obviously, if we lose and Lundstram's in the team, then it is 10 times worse. What I would say, though, we do need to have a bit more patience at times with managers, because you look at Gerrard when he came in, right? Now, I appreciate that because he was getting a couple of wins against Celtic, that probably helped him stay longer, if we're being honest. And if we're all being brutally honest, COVID saved his job, because he probably would have been sacked had COVID not occurred in that season, the way things had started to go. But that was the last time when he came in, was the last proper rebuild that we had that kind of worked in the end, in terms of the long-term goal was try and get the league title back before they win 10. But he was given the time. He knew that there wasn't a Rangers fan out there who thought, well, if there was, they were deluded anyway, who thought he was going to come marching in the first season and just take the title. It was always going to take time. Clement's the same. I think this is only going to be his second transfer window, his first proper one, because January's a funny window. Let's see what he does here. Let's hope he does better than what Michael Beale does. And I know there's a couple of names we're talking about later on as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with some of the players that have been on loan this season. Do they get,
Oh, Connor, we're nearly 40 minutes in. We've not got time for that.
I'm just making the wider point that he needs that opportunity and then take it there. Look, he's under pressure of a different kind to Gerrard, actually. Gerrard was under pressure to stop the 10. Clement's now under pressure to stop Celtic beating our record. Because if they win next year, it's 55, and then it's 55 each. We can't let them get to, albeit there's a massive asterisk on how they've got there first, because we had to spend about 5-6 years outside the league, which is, by the way, that's not their fault. They still done what they had to do.
We wouldn't give a
that's a different level of pressure on Philip Clement's shoulders, that the weight of history now and the swing of it tilts on what he can do over the next season or two if he stays in charge.